footage in there, but we got, an hour of different kind of horrible things that people could do to themselves. While
any contest winners in the audience?
That's a really awesome question.
Submitters? Yeah? Awesome.
And also, the obvious question is, why 3D? Why did you choose to go with 3D to do this?
Yeah, which is also like an obvious question because like 3D is so shat upon right now. Like people, it's like so cool online to talk about 3D as being shitty, which like pains me because like there are movies that are so much better in 3D. I mean, like Avatar's not a good movie in 2D, and it's great in 3D. Hugo is amazing. Cave of Forgotten Dreams. I mean, it's like I'll admit, like it's a minority of good movies right now, but I feel like most of what's getting made are movies that are like the post-convert stuff is obviously shit, and then the stuff where it becomes like a gimmick. It's sort of like you're using color like your Schindler's List instead of Vertigo. Right? Like you're being like, oh, there's a girl in a red dress, you're watching a movie right now, you're watching a movie. And like all of the 3D is all like ping pong balls and shit poking you in the eyes. And I feel like what's more interesting about 3D is actually just like treating the Z-axis as another realm of space. And the whole idea that you can actually control interocular. So you're creating depths that are impossible to perceive in real life.
That's why I did this movie. What are you talking about?
That's a better answer.
Which will cut to why did you choose to get back on?
Why did you do this?
The interocular thing, the Z-axis with the interocular.
Yeah, it's spiritual. It's
the spirit.
God told me to fuck with the interocular.
Interoculars for Christ. That's what I was saving the Z-axis for Jesus.
So you wrote this role for Clancy?
Yeah.
It was really fun to see you just let loose on this. Like this is like no one lets you do that enough. And I just thought it was tremendous. And I think people are gonna have to bust out a dictionary for most of the foul things you say in between all there. But
how many cocksuckers did I say?
Did you get sick of swearing them?
No. How often do you get to say? Only Mamet and J.T. Petty can write that kind of.
And Seven Psychopaths for everybody who was here for that.
There's a poetry to it.
Do we have any questions here from the audience? Let's see. Don't be. Yes.
I just wanted to ask Dan Fuller, how did that brick that you were punching, is that a foam brick or is that real actual brick?
Was the brick foam or was it real?
That fucking brick was real, man. And I was methoding that punching that brick.
There's no Foley in that scene. That's all production.
There's knuckles crunching on rock. Thanks.
You should see the brick now. That brick looks like shit now.
Powder. And we ground it to powder and then we snorted it and then we shot another 12 hours.
Yes.
Were there any hijinks on the set, anything just to sort of keep things moving, keep things like improv, anything like that?
Actually, how much of it was improv, or was it all just straight from the script?
There's a little improv in there. Dan would improv a bunch. And there was some, but I mean, it was such a tight shoot, there wasn't a whole lot of time for improv. I mean, I would have loved to have done more. And we were all happy. I mean, I have a giant crush on this entire script, or on the entire cast. So there was a lot of just like sitting around being like, man, it's really great watching, Andre Royo and Dan and Clancy talk to each other. So we were always happy, but were we hijinksing much?
You mean, other than fucking him into a puddle?
There was the fucking Dan into a puddle.
We did open a giant flaming vagina to hell for a while there.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Then we closed that up, but
That's hijinks.
it was weird. It was really weird.
Yes, on the side there.
Rabbits? Wow, that was a new low.
Hello?
That's actually my rabbit. And she likes it. Oh, that's my brother-in-law, who's like ex-born again fundy, like raised in a sort of commune kind of place, and anytime, I mean, like, so basically all of Clancy's dialogue, I'd be like, I need like good things to curse about, and then he can quote almost the entire Old Testament. So we'd start, and he'd tell me like the 17 rape stories from the Old Testament. And he'd be like, oh, in the kingdom of Shechem, they tricked them into getting circumcised without thinking about it, and then attacked them while they were bleeding from their crotches and killed the whole place. I was like, oh, that's good, that's good.
Very impressive.
Yeah. So
It's the DVD extras right there.
Exactly.
And what else? Light though, can't really see because of the lights. Anyone up there? Yes, on the side.
How much of the religious background stuff did you already know, or did you have to do a bunch of research to kind of formulate that stuff?
I mean, I spent some time in Catholic school, but I like reading about that stuff. My brother-in-law was definitely a huge help, but a lot of that is just sort of reading the Bible. It's an awesome book, and I'm, like literature-wise, I like the New Testament more than the Old Testament, but the Old Testament's a lot more entertaining. And you get into the stuff there, there's just like amazing stuff to draw from.
Why did you choose Clifton Collins? I mean, we don't often see him. Yeah.
We see Clifton Collins all the time.
But as a lead, as a lead, it was.
Yeah. I mean, Clifton's just done like fantastic work all the time. I mean, him and I want to say Peyote, but it's that writer.
Truman?
Capote. Or Traffic, or I mean, just like he shows up. He was like the best thing by far in Sunshine Cleaning. Like any time that he shows up and you recognize him, you're just like, oh shit, that guy is so good. And the entire cast, I was always thinking of like number one, like they're not very good exorcists, and so like they have to sort of have a fair amount of charm outside of that to be like really bad at their job, but still just effective humans. And then on top of that, like I wanted everybody to feel like we kept talking about blue collar exorcists, right? That like these guys, it's a job. And actually there was two ministers that I hung out with a while before this, and it was just remarkable how much they talked about it as a job. So I wanted to make sure they all felt very kind of like grounded and blue collar and real, and like all of these guys, and Clifton and Andre and Macon and Robin, like they sort of had that feeling about them of like people who are working a job.
You know, when Michael Bay did Pearl Harbor, he had to get the involvement.
Where is this going?
When he did Pearl Harbor, he had to get the involvement of the Navy. I'm just wondering what your involvement with the Catholic Church and God was in the production.
Full support from both of them. They make me powerful when I'm doing their work.
And yes, in the back there.